Mr. Chairman. First of all, one simply needs to Google things and you find a different reality than that being expressed here. Poorest country, Central America, Nicaragua. But you bring us your own charts and show us there is absolutely no increase in the numbers of Nicaraguans unaccompanied children to this country. None. There is no increase from Mexico. It's an increase from 3 specific countries. And you go back. You want to talk about the Guatemalan police? Google it 1 second. The former head of the Guatemalan police was convicted on June 6th of this month for murdering people. It is pervasive, the violence. They are part and parcel of the criminal enterprise in many instances that plagues Guatemala. And you want us to believe them? The very people that help facilitate these processes? Please, let's give us. The other thing is, let's be clear, because I would like a little more honesty here, Mr. Chairman. We have unions that come here that when their directors give prosecutorial discretion, they get together with their union, right, and then condemn their supervisors for initiating those prosecutorial discretion memorandums. That is the truth and that is the reality. So you already come. You don't like DACA. You don't like anything that has to do with compassion. You don't like anything that has to do with prosecutorial discretion, but it is the law. And I'm happy that the President of the United States is initiating prosecutorial discretion because this is a nation of laws and it's also a nation of compassion. It's also a nation that understands that there is truth and justice in our law. And apparently everybody, all I've heard here today is, let's lock them up and throw them back. I haven't heard a solution here. Please, tell me what the solution that has been offered here that would stop the children from coming here, other than to say that if we lock them up and sent them back, which is not the law of the land. It is simply not the law of the United States. You want to change the law and you want to send them back, then prepare legislation that says exactly that, get it passed by the Congress of the United States and signed by the President of the United States. But that's not the law. What we hear is now they're bringing diseases. How many times do we have to hear about poor children fleeing drug cartels, crime, violence, murder, rape? And they finally arrive in this country, and what do we do to those children? Do we continue what was said in Virginia just a couple of weeks ago when Mr. Cantor's opponent says, I'm going to Congress to continue the Judeo-Christian tradition that this country was founded on? That's the Judeo-Christian tradition? To take children fleeing murderers, drug traffickers, human traffickers, and then demonize them and criminalize them? That is. And then they say, one of my colleagues on the Republican side says, oh, they're reuniting them with their parents. I'm aghast. Really? What a sin. What a sin. The government of the United States is spending money to reunite children with their parents. I say we have sensible, comprehensive immigration reform, which I am ready to work and have been ready to work with the other side of the aisle. You know why they're coming? I'll tell you what, because the drug traffickers and the drug cartels, they're filming this hearing. And what they have heard time again from the Republicans is what? You get a free pass. How many times haven't we heard them say that? You get a free pass. You don't think the drug traffickers and the drug cartels print that stuff up and then go? That's the criminal. Let's tell them the truth of what our laws are. The fact is, they're being placed in removal proceedings. We know that. We know that the mass majority of them will not receive anything from the government of the United States, and they will be deported from the United States after going through these long trials and tribulations and murderous road to get here. I got to tell you something. I am astonished and ashamed that this committee is going to have a trip to visit the centers in Texas and has this hearing and prejudges the very expedition that we're taking out next week. Look, I want to continue the Judeo-Christian tradition of this country too, and that is one that is welcoming of people that are refugees, that come here seeking peace and humanity. I don't know about the rest of my colleagues, but I think that should be our goal each and every instance. And I want to thank Mr. Deutsch for reminding us of what we're doing given the terrible crisis of Syria and what we've asked other people to do. That's all we're asking. But it just seems to be that if they come from our own specific hemisphere, it's bad. Let me tell you something. We spend trillions of dollars in countries where people don't like us. Let's spend some money in countries where people love this nation. And I think we